How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video we're going to be talking about the Gameweek 29 team selection, as well as taking a look at Gameweek 28, which was a blank game week, and seeing how my squad got on. We'll also be taking a look at some transfer options before we finalize our squads. So let's get into the video. Thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring this video. Link down below if you do want to use my download link to download this wonderful app. Thanks again for sponsoring the video. If you don't know, OneFootball is the everything football related app. It's free to download on iOS or Android, and you can see there on the table. I'm following the Premier League right now. Gives me all the goals, assists, and whatever I need to know, as well as following my favorite team if I do want to follow a team, which is for me Liverpool, but for you it could be anyone else. Also, if you want to track more leagues than just the Premier League, go and check out this app. As I said, link down below. So as you can see on screen here, the team of the week for blank game week 28, quite a good game week for those differentials. As you can see, not a lot of the popular Liverpool assets on here, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, but I was just happy with one thing: Guaita getting 11 points there. It's not often that I do have the keeper from the team of the week, so I will be hoping that he continues this form into the upcoming game weeks. We also have ALONSO, that's 16 points, kind of a throwback to previous FPL seasons with how attacking he was and just how many goals he's been scoring recently. Doherty also complementing the kind of attacking defenders along with Lewis and Aarons with that shock victory over Leicester. Then SARR, the most talked about, probably a differential player this game week after Watford's victory against Liverpool. And then Antonio, Fernandes and Fornals completing that midfield. Fernandes, a player that's becoming a little bit hard to ignore with just how well he's been playing. And then Diego Jota and Troy Deeney finishing up that team of the week in those striker positions. So as I said, quite a nice week for the differentials. Comment down below how many you owned, and that'll probably tell us how well your game week went. But let's get on and see how my squad did in blank game week 28. So as you can see on screen here, 50 points. The game week is yet to update, so we're going to be rising in rank to that 70k mark. So a little bit of a 30k rise in rank there. Nice little green arrow. We did take a -4 hit. We'll be talking about the players I brought in a little bit later on. But as I said, above the average. That average is not 13. It will update soon, but I am recording this on Sunday evening. I will drop a comment down below if any changes do happen to the squad. I just have to record this on Sunday due to scheduling. So let's get on and talk about some of the transfers I made. So in the preview, I spoke about that FPL Twitter and the mayhem that kind of ensued on this Friday deadline for blank game week 28, with the fact that Jamie Vardy was confirmed to be out of the lineup. So luckily we got that news nice and early, so I was able to make my changes. They were about 15 minutes before the deadline, so a little bit rushed there, but at least I did manage to make them. So the 3 transfers I did make was Connolly out along with Jamie Vardy, and then I also dropped Grealish. So Barnes came in for Grealish, and then I doubled up on that Wolves attack with Diego Jota and Raul Jimenez coming in for Connolly and Vardy. So I was pretty happy with how they performed. Starting off in goal, as I said, the team of the week goalkeeper Guaita with 11 points. So that's back-to-back clean sheets with him, and luckily enough he managed to pick up those 3 bonus points. So I'm not really used to Guaita points, so I don't really know how to deal with them, but I'm just quite happy with him finally returning. So luckily, guys, I did not break him. Then Alexander-Arnold, I spoke about that shock victory against Watford. I thought that Watford would score, but I wasn't expecting them to kind of dominate Liverpool in the manner they did. So Alexander-Arnold only finished with 1 point, and then Lascelles with 6 points. So it was the game week of kind of the budget options. A lot of people with Charlie Taylor were really happy that this game ended 0-0, and so was I. So finally Lascelles on my starting 11, getting me some points. And then Sionku with 2 points, also a little bit of a shock defeat for Leicester there. I was expecting them to do well. Norwich are an attacking side, but I do think they didn't have as many chances as people were expecting. So Sionku could always have got the clean sheet there. Unfortunately, he didn't. He also had a little bit of an attacking threat in that game, so I thought he maybe could have got a goal or assist off one of those set pieces. The midfield, there's not much to talk about. We have a quadruplets of 2. Salah, Barnes, Traore and Mane all finishing on 2 points. So yet again, the Mane-Salah debate comes to an end with them both being quite equal. So unfortunately didn't watch the Liverpool game, so I didn't have that stress of not captaining Salah. But after watching the highlights, Mane and Salah both didn't get too many highlights, so I don't think I would have been stressing too much. With Barnes, my new transfer in, was a little bit disappointed with how Leicester played. I thought at least I could have got some return from Barnes, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and we just got to kind of hope that he kind of picks up his form a little bit in the upcoming game weeks and does quite well. Traore with 2 points. I was really happy that he managed to start. All 3 of my Wolves players managed to get in that starting 11, but unfortunately Traore had a relatively quiet afternoon. Quiet in terms of his attacking return. So in terms of running, he was absolutely outstanding. He got forward so much, but his final product was just lacking again. It reminded me a little bit of Traore at the start of the season and last season, with just his final product lacking, but his overall play being so good. So a little bit hard done by with Traore. I thought that he maybe could have got an attacking return, but he did play quite well. Just unfortunate not to get on the receiving end of an assist or a goal. The forward line is where the excitement happens. Unfortunately not with Danny Ings. A little bit of excitement there with his benching. He did come on and not get any return, so I'm hoping that he kind of had his rest, or if he was injured, he's back from injury for the next couple of game weeks, as I do think he's going to be quite important, and I'm hoping that he kind of gets back on this form that he's been in this season. And then Diego Jota and Raul Jimenez combining there for a lovely 19 points. So Diego Jota, kind of my differential right now, owned by less than 5% of people. So I was really happy with him getting a double-digit return. And then obviously with Raul Jimenez also kind of doing well. And he kind of had to with the other kind of budget options like Calvert-Lewin also doing quite well in blank Gameweek 28. So I was really happy that Raul Jimenez did. And it kind of knocked my -4 hit out. And maybe I should be taking more hits in the future. Comment down below if you think I should, because this has been quite a good game week. On the bench, nothing to talk about. Rico yet again did not start, so he looks like a transfer out for the upcoming game weeks. And then Connolly and De Bruyne obviously had their blank game weeks. Let's get on and see some transfers that I am considering. So I spoke about Diego Rico yet again not in the starting 11, so he does look like a transfer out. And in preparation for blank Gaming 31, a Charlie Taylor does look quite good. They're both the same price, but with Charlie Taylor not only does he start, but he's also part of a Burnley defense that has seen a little bit of a resurgence thanks to Nick Pope, who's playing quite well. The other options I could look at is Doherty or Alonso. We spoke about them in that Game Week 29 preview. They're doing quite well, getting forward loads. They almost look like a midfielder / winger with how often they're getting in the box. Then with SARR, another differential that we could look at, I think if I was to transfer out the likes of Traore, I think SARR could be a nice option to go for. As I said, nice differential, and at this time of the season, we want to get those differentials that are in form, because that means FPL points. Calvert-Lewin, another player I'm looking at, could be a potential downgrade or upgrade for Danny Ings, depending on when you bought Danny Ings for what price, but he also looks like a great player, and if he continues scoring against the big boys, I really do think that he could be on for some massive FPL points from now to the end of the season. But let's go and look at how the squad's setting up for Game Week 29. So right now, I don't think I'll be making a transfer. Reason being is I think the bench is perfectly adequate to come off if one of my players gets injured or if they don't start in the starting 11. So I don't think I'll be making a transfer this game week. I think if Diego Rico goes down in price, or maybe if Charlie Taylor is scheduled for a price rise, I will make that switch, as I think it's a good one for the upcoming game weeks. But starting off in goal against Watford, I know Watford are probably one of the most informed teams right now after coming off that Liverpool victory, but I do think Crystal Palace could get something out of this, and at the end of the day, maybe if Watford are quite attacking, at least Guaita can get some save points. But I am kind of expecting things now from Guaita, which is probably a little bit of a dangerous game, as he was returning when I wasn't expecting anything. The rest of the defense has some lovely home fixtures as well. Alexander-Arnold against Bournemouth. Now Bournemouth against Liverpool is usually quite a high scoring affair, so I'm just hoping it's high scoring in terms of Liverpool. I know they have that Atletico Madrid game on the horizon of Bournemouth, so just keep your eyes out for rotation there. But thankfully Liverpool do play first, so we will be able to get some team news and hopefully some starting 11s before the deadline. So Alexander-Arnold can always get some attacking returns, and I think against Bournemouth there is a potential. Then O'Connell against Norwich at home. Now I'm hoping Sheffield United can get back onto their clean sheet train that they've had in the previous game weeks, but unfortunately it hasn't come about in the last couple. So O'Connell always has a little bit of an attacking threat, but more of a defensive threat. So I'm hoping Sheffield United can, as I said, get a clean sheet. Then Sionku against Aston Villa. Now Aston Villa, they're always a little bit of a hit or miss side, but I think with the form Leicester's in, they have to bounce back and secure that top 4 spot by playing better football. So hopefully that means that Sionku can get a clean sheet. The midfield has some potential here. So Salah and Mane against Bournemouth, that just looks like FPL points to me. So you know what that means. They're probably going to blank. But right now, I've got the captaincy on Mane, as I usually do, for that differential aspect. And I can see myself almost just captaining Sadio Mane if his ownership stays where it is, as he's almost been captained by less than 10% of overall teams, which in my eyes looks like FPL points to gain. Harvey Barnes against Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa's defense is quite bad. Recently, with Mings back, it's been a little bit better, but I do think that Leicester can get some goals in this one. And then De Bruyne against Man United. Now, I think this is going to be quite a close game. United are always up for this Manchester derby, so I'm just hoping De Bruyne can maybe get an assist in this one. Everyone kind of has him, so he's not really an important player in my FPL squads, as he doesn't offer any gains or losses if he scores. Now, the attack is also why I'm excited. So I brought Diego Jota in and Jimenez. Now, anything against Spurs was almost bonus because that was quite a tough fixture. Any top 6 clash is considered a tougher fixture. So against Brighton, I really think that Wolves can do something here. I spoke about in the preview that whole Europa League, so I'm hoping that it doesn't impact Wolves too much, and I'm hoping that their big boys do start against Brighton, as I think they could put in a shift and get some FPL points. And Danny Ings rounding off the starting 11 against Newcastle. Now Newcastle, they have been quite tough to break down defensively, but I'm hoping that because it is a home fixture for Southampton, that they can do quite well. On the bench, I have Traore because of that little knock that he picked up on his shoulder. Just keep your eyes on that one, and maybe stay tuned for the press conference to see if he will be starting. But I think if he is starting, it's going to leave me with quite a benching headache here. Maybe I could even drop the likes of De Bruyne to play Traore, because that definitely is a better fixture. Then Lascelles on the bench. Don't really want to play the odds there with playing Danny Ings, so he'll be on my bench. And then Diego Rico, even if he was playing, I don't think I would have played him against Liverpool. So this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Stay tuned to my Twitter at DayvyFPL for any confirmed transfers that I do make, and stay tuned for hopefully a deadline with Dayvy stream where I confirm the moves I'm making. But right now, I think I'll probably be banking a transfer, as I said, unless there are price rises that force me into moves. So please like the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you're new or have not subscribed yet. I'm going to be signing off. This has been DayvyFPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.